Welcome to the LumiCast, your premier gateway to the universe of limitless photo editing. Dive into the galaxy of Luminar software and the dynamic world of AI photo editing. Join us weekly for a burst of creativity and the drive to transform your photos with confidence and skill. Broadcasting directly from Clever Photographer headquarters, it's time to welcome your hosts, Jakub and Holly Linton.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of LumiCast, your favorite podcast where we're talking about photography, photo editing, and our beloved Luminar Neo. My name is Jakub. I'm landscape photographer from the United Kingdom, and next to me is Holly Linton, based in...
Where do I live? It's pronounced Bluntville, Tennessee.
Holly, how are you?
I'm doing great today. Happy to be alive.
Brilliant. We are going to be talking about the photography shows today. I'm really looking forward to it because I love photography shows. Holly, have you ever been on photography show before?
No, but that's a good segue because I'm going to my very first one in January.
Awesome. So we have 5 photography shows each. Now I will be focusing on UK and you will be focusing on United States. So do you want to start with your first one?
Sure. All right. The very first one coming up in 2026 is Imaging USA, which is sponsored by PPA, Professional Photographers of America. And that's going to be taking place in Nashville, Tennessee at the Gaylord Opryland Hotel, January 11th, 13th. And I'm pretty excited about this because I'm going to probably I'll see Vanelli, who's the Director of Education for Skylum, and a couple other people who I've been friends with in the Luminar community. I'll finally get to meet them in person. And it's an expo. It has over 130 vendors, educational sessions, and then there's some kind of international photography competition. So they're going to do like the scoring and awards for that kind of stuff. So the keynote speaker for that, his name is Matthew Emerzian, Emerzian. And there are also, previous to the January 11th, the couple days before that, there are educational educational sessions where you can pay extra. So I'm doing like a wildlife course for 3 hours. So that's like extra $99. And meet one of my friends, Angie Birmingham, who's a wildlife photographer. So I'm excited to meet her for the first time. And so supporting the arts and signed up for her course. So I'm really excited about it. I don't know what to expect, but I'm hoping for like when you go on the expo floor where all of the different vendors are, do they give out free stuff at those things? Like little goodies? I'm hoping I get a goodie bag.
Oh, many. Yeah.
So that's the first one that I found.
Brilliant.
I think, and if anyone else is going, be on the lookout for me. I'd love to meet you.
So that sounds good. We should say also that we will actually add links to all 10 photography shows in the description of the podcast. And one more time, if you want to meet Holly, forget the show, but if you want to meet Holly, come and meet her at the Imagine. Great. So you will get lots of goodie bags. I have absolutely no doubts about that. And some places, they just give them to you. Others, they ask for your email to add to the news, the newsletter mailing list, and then you get something for it. And you can get everything from brochures all the way to lens filters and little tripods and cloths and lens cloths, and like it's gonna be really cool. So some people just go collecting these little items. Anyway, my first one is the Society of Photographers Convention. Now, the Society of Photographers is quite big name in United Kingdom, mostly focusing on portrait photography, but that includes everything from your babies, weddings, to portrait photography, business portrait photography, creative portrait photography, so like composites put together. It is always, or at least since I've been going, happening in Novotel London West at the Hammersmith. Now, this show lasts for 5 days, and if you are part of the society, you get an extra day. And it has 2 levels. Basically, one level is the part of the show where you can see the new lenses and new cameras, you can try them and different photography gear, and you can go around and just chat to people, including in past, I was there with Skylum, I was there with Aperty and so on. So there are also different software and everything about photography books and photography clothing and gloves and all that. And then there is the second level, which generally happens at the bottom of the hotel. And this is where all the master classes and classes and trainings and photo walks and all that happens. And it can be lots of fun. Now you can do like Holly, you can buy the individual classes, or you can actually buy something that is called Masterclass Pass. And then you can go to any of them, just kind of jump in between based on your schedule. Now, these things are not necessarily cheap. So I would suggest to really dig in and see if the lineup works for you. But definitely, if you're going to do them and if you invest yourself into it and take it seriously, you can learn a lot because you will be there one-on-one. Well, maybe not one-on-one, but in the smaller groups with great photographers who have the experience and are able to answer your questions. So this is one show that you can definitely do that, focusing on portrait photography, but they really cover everything from flash photography, photo editing, the initial vision for photography, all the way to photography business, how to make money with photography and all that. So really, it doesn't matter in what stage of your photography journey you are. I would suggest this as the opening. It also happens pretty much like 2 weeks after New Year and Christmas. So if you want a little bit start the new year on the positive note, if you got yourself a new camera for Christmas, this would be a good show if you are in UK. So one more time, between 13 and 17 of January in Novotel, London West.
Great. All right. On to my next one. It's called the SPAC. It's a conference for school and sports photographers. So the people who do the school portraits, school pictures, and sports photographers. So I think that's kind of interesting that they have their own little special conference. That's going to take place at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, from January 21st to the 24th. And the all-access pass for that, as you said, things are a little pricey, is $559. But I imagine all these people are like running a business. These are not amateurs. So I'm sure they're getting a lot of, quality content out of it, how to make their business, improved. So for anyone out there using Luminar, that's a school and sports photographer, you might not have known about this conference. It could be worth looking up the agenda, see if it makes sense for you. So I don't know. Yeah.
It seems to be like this sport and school photography is quite big topic in States, isn't it? That's quite popular. Like when you go through the different stages of your studies, maybe like your university or college or whatever, you get these different photo shoots.
Well, all throughout grade school and high school. It's funny now that I am a photographer, I guess. Or I was going to say now that I am one, but I don't know if I am one, but I am a hobbyist enthusiast. But I analyze other pictures. Yeah, they do school pictures every year. That's like you get the parent, they send home a notice to the parents, school pictures are this day. But then of course they're trying to sell you the whole package of, all these different poses and things that add up to a lot of money. Since I know how to take my own pictures, I would always be like, oh my God, I don't want to spend $30 for a little wallet size, or whatever the price was. But yeah, you're right. It's a big thing. And then they always do all the team shoots for the yearbook, for the school yearbook, and then graduation pictures and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a big money-making thing for all the schools to offer these pictures.
Yeah. So no wonder they can get their own festival together or show. Cool. Okay, so moving on my second one. For this one, we're going to go to Leeds, to the north of England. Well, it's also called Photo North Festival. Now, this one runs between 13th and 15th of March in 2026. All of these are next year, actually. So if you listen to it, you can use these dates as a guide. It is in Millennium Square or at the Millennium Square in Leeds. Now, this one is a little bit different because I don't know the one you talk about to school, but definitely the Imagine and the Society of Photographers, they will be huge. There will be huge shows, probably with hundreds and thousands of people coming and joining. Where the Photo North festival is kind of smaller, more intimate show. And also it has a very limited amount of vendors. So people coming with their camera gear. It's more about the real photography, not real. It's more about photography, and it focuses on things like storytelling, documentary projects, social engagement with your photography, and that kind of stuff. There is lots of photographers who present their pictures there and talk about it. You can talk to them. So if you, for example, walk around and you see work of someone and you're interested how he made it, what was the thought behind, you can do that. So it's almost like one massive photographic gallery where you have these photographers standing next to their work, and you can talk to them about anything, about their gear, about the photography, about what was the idea behind, how did they manage to get to this stage in their career. And I think this can be really, really cool. Of course, alongside, there is number of classes and workshops and so on, but already just the fact that you get to talk to these professional photographers can be really cool and a little bit different as well.
Mm-hmm. And I would imagine that they have to be selected. There's some kind of selection process for who they pick to have all their work there.
So generally, all of them are professional photographers, so people who make money with photography, and they always try to curate the selection of the photographers so it covers most of the photography genre of that year. So some people keep coming back, some of the photographers, and some come once and then again, maybe in 5 years. Now, they may be not necessarily all like a huge name, somebody like Scott Kelby or so on, but they would be known in the industry. So they would be professionals and they would have a good credits to be able to talk about photography.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a nice one. All right.
What's next on your list?
On to my third one. Now, this one's a little bit interesting. It's the Photo Booth Expo taking place at where the sports photography one was, at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. So I guess that's a popular conference location. That's going to be February 16th through 19th. And it's the world's largest trade show for photo booth professionals. Now, I'll admit, I had to Google, what is a photo booth professional? Is it as simple as it sounds? And it turns out it is. The people who rent out the photo booths, like at a party or a wedding. So they have a photo booth business where they rent out their photo booth for different events. Now, this is interesting because I was just at my nephew's wedding and they had a photo booth. So it was fun for everyone to, jump in there and get your picture taken. And then it prints out a little tiny kind of, small print with all the pictures that you can take home. Now, this one was overexposing everything. So we had to hang like a black curtain over the top of the light to try to douse some of the blown out highlights. So to me, I was like, whoever's running this photo booth hasn't, calibrated the machine or done the proper maintenance to it. So it's just kind of funny that I just learned about the Photo Booth Professional Conference, because obviously there is an art to it. You want to make sure it's all running properly for your customers. But apparently it's a, good money maker to own these and rent these out. So I think that would be an interesting career path for somebody.
Definitely. And there must be money in it as well. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Maybe the initial investment is a little bit bigger, but once you get it going, it could be really cool. Wow. Good one. All right, Holly. Well, with that, I think we are on our fifth show. So we're going to take a little break. We're going to run the ad and we'll come back with some of the biggest show of next year. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment.
If you're listening to the LumiCast podcast, then we share something in common. We love editing photos, and we love Luminar. It's almost breathtaking what this amazing tech can do for you. On our website, you'll find countless different things to help you be more creative than you ever thought imaginable. From our photo manipulation masterclass to our power bundle with 986 elements, our essential preset bundle, editing software and extensions to our tutorials. Harness the power at the website at www.cleverphotographer.com/Luminar. Again, that's cleverphotographer.com/Luminar. Now, back to LumiCast.
And we are back with more photography shows in 2026. Now it's my turn. It's time for my third show. And it's the big one. It's the biggest photography show in Europe and definitely following that also the biggest in UK. It's called the Photography and Video Show. Now, quite recently, they start to alternate this show between London and Birmingham. So last year it was in London. I was there with Skyline presenting our beloved Lumina Neo. And this year it returns back to the NEC or NEC Birmingham. So it goes between 14 and 17 of March. And this show is gigantic. Like it's never-ending amount of booths and stores and just different camera gear and lenses, different tripods, clothing, books, magazines. Oh, everything you can imagine about photography is there. And then pretty much in the same site or same size, there is never-ending amount of workshops and classes and trainings and photo walks and everything you can imagine. While personally, it's a little bit too big for me, and I know quite a lot of people who can get overwhelmed by the size of the show, you will find there pretty much everything. So if you're thinking going for such a side show, I suggest you to go for multiple days. This one goes between 14 to 17 March, so you get 3-4 days of that. And definitely do the research before you come. You know, they give you a map and they give you lots of different breakdown on what's happening, because once you get there, if you start to just kind of wing it, or however you call wing it, you will just get lost. And I know lots of people who spend 2 days there and never seen anything. So this size of a show definitely requires a little bit of prep, so you get the most out of it. But then once you're there, you will also meet some of the biggest name in photography world. So this photography and video show is known that people like Scott Kelby come over and other big names in the industry. What's the name of the female photographer you were telling me about last time? It doesn't matter.
Lindsay Adler,
yeah, she's there pretty much every year as well. Yeah, so it's definitely one of these shows which attracts big names in photography, big brands, small brands, lots of photographers from across Europe, and it's amazing. And it never really stops, you know. So once the shows close at 7, usually they run some kind of meetups, and then you can go for dinners with other people and drinks or whatever, or walk around the town and do night photography. Like it really is full on 3-4 days. So that's the photography and video show in Birmingham next year.
Great. Do you think you'll get invited to be representing Skyline again? Or?
I hope so. I haven't heard from them yet. Even if I don't, I think this is one of the show I will definitely go, even if I have to go on my own, because everybody you can imagine is going to be there. So I think it's always worth to do that.
Awesome. That sounds like a really good one.
What's next on your?
All right. Well, my next one is also a really big one. It's WPPI, the Wedding and Portrait Photographer International Conference. It's going to be held at the Rio Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, March 1st through 5th. And the keynote speaker there is going to be Annie Leibovitz. So that's a really great keynote speaker. So everything from like portraits, wedding, boudoir, business and marketing ideas, lighting, product photography is going to be taking place there. Then something worth mentioning that I've noticed when I did my research for this podcast is that a lot of these conferences will have like an early bird pricing. So as we talked about getting the best deals on things in different podcasts, you should, if you're really interested in going to any of these, I think you should lock it in right away before, because the prices really jump up a lot as it gets closer to the actual conference date. So BPPI, I could see that being a really great event for all the portrait people out there. So I probably wouldn't go to it because I think Imaging USA will be more along the lines of the types of photography that I do. But since this is kind of specific to portraits and weddings, it probably wouldn't be for me, but I could see it being great for all those that are in that profession. So have you ever gone to that?
I never gone to that, but I have to say that I have heard big things about this show. I think it's one which is probably recognized across the world, so it must be massive. Different photographers told me different experiences. Some also mentioned that it's probably almost too big to navigate around. Others absolutely love it because everybody who means something in photography world and portrait photography is there, so you can meet them. And quite often, apparently, you can just kind of meet them around Vegas, you can chat to them and have a talk about photography and so on. So it seems like a great show. I mean, I would love to go, but as you know, I'm not much into portrait photography, so just don't know if it would be for me.
Yeah.
Me personally, also, if I would have to choose, I would go for the Imaging. But yeah, seems like a big show to go for. All right. Well, on my list next is Photo London. Now, Photo London is a show which alternates, so they only do it every 2 years, and it will be back next year. surprisingly, it's going to be happening in London, following the name. It is happening between 14th and 17th of May, with some preview on the 13th of May. Scheduled to be in the Olympia London, which is the National Hall, but it's a massive exhibition space, which can also be theater. And it's more a show focusing on fine art photography. I would say out of all of these, this is the one where you will be really interested if you really want to get into really fine art, professional photography. You're talking these really high-class portrait photo shoots and front page photo shoots and very elaborate composition put together and different scenes and, talking about printing on expensive paper and getting the best colors and the best printers and getting the quality archived. And also, if you want to publish books, this is where you would get the information about how to do it, what kind of paper to use, what publishers to use for that. So while it's really, really nice and it's happening in London, which generally is accessible for everyone, it is just a little bit of it's focusing on that very specific subject of photography, which is that fine art and professional photography, which is not necessarily for everyone because the price, even just the price bracket of doing that kind of photography can be quite high and expensive for some people. It is also very, out of everyone of the show I mentioned, this one is really serious. Like you come there and not much joking and fun around, you're talking.
Oh, forget it.
Yeah, you're talking hardcore photography, and using 1.2 and 1.4 prime lens, and you have these never-ending lights, which each one of them is like 10,000 pounds, and so it can be fun if you're into that. If you really want to take the photography into next level, and you don't get intimidated by this, I think it's definitely a show for you. It's just that you need to be aware what's coming your way when you're going to go to Olympia London between 14th and 17th of May.
Well, I'll be crossing that one off my list. I need to be silly and be myself at these events. But that's a good segue to my fifth and final conference for 2026, which it's called AIPAD. It's the Association of International Photography Art Dealers. So it's their conference is called the Photography Show from April 22nd to 26th. And it's at the Park Avenue Armory in New York City. And it's just all about fine art, how to exhibit it, how to buy it, and how to sell it. So it does sound quite fancy, just like the one you just mentioned. Just the word Park Avenue alone indicates, just the address indicates it's fancy, I think. So that is my final one. I know I won't be going to that, but the fine art, I guess, really is some beautiful stuff. And that's what people are collecting. It's just, when I think of art collecting, I just think of people who are very wealthy, who it's almost like they're, I don't know if you call it a hobby. It's their collectible. They just love collecting art. So there's an industry.
Yeah. And it's an investment, isn't it?
Yeah, investment. And I know I won't ever own any expensive art piece, but I'm looking to print my own canvases for $19.99. But for all the fine art people, all the fine art people will probably really love it. So who am I to judge? No one. So
100%. Yeah. There is a space for all of us there, isn't it? But you're right that this can be also financially very interesting if you are in the privileged position to be able to produce something like that and sell it for that kind of money. Yeah, that can be great. From my experience, I've been able to work a little bit along Trey Radcliffe, who used to sell his prints for about $20,000 minimum. Wow. They were massive. They were huge. They had to be big prints in beautiful frames, in very limited editions, or the only copy to sell. And then you can sell something like that if you know the right people. So in his case, he would be friend with Steven Spielberg and, these kind of names. And so then, yes, people would buy his art and ultimately they become collectible because they are done the right way. But then everything, as you mentioned, follows. So Trey would, for example, fly to Germany to one of the oldest photography print companies in the world, where they would use very specific colors. They were, gain a very a healthy way, and it would be a very specific paper, and it would be super expensive. Just to print that picture would be $2,000-$3,000,
Wow.
And then on top of it, you add the frame, which will be another $500. And because if you want to sell it for that amount, it also needs to be, I guess, certain quality.
Right.
To be made. So I find it fascinating. It's a little bit too serious for me, but I find it fascinating that you can with photography also do that. Yeah, that is very cool. And that nicely connected the two shows with each other. So that was fun. Anyway, I have also my 5th show, which is not necessarily show. It's probably more like an exhibition. And again, it's in London. So this one is called London Photo Show and their summer exhibition, which will be happening in gallery near Hoxton Station in London between the 25th and 28th of June in 2026. And this one is a little bit different because this one is actually purely focusing on people wanting to sell their photography, their prints, their canvases, their whatever. If you are lucky enough and you select it, you can actually present the photos there and people can go and see it and they can buy your print or they can order it. Or if not, you can go there and you can talk to these photography professionals and talk to them about how to do that, what's their experience, where they print the photos, how they print them, how much they charge them, how much to charge extra on the top of the cost of the print and so on. And if that is your thing and you feel like your photography is set for this next step, I really recommend you to go for this because, yeah, you can get some valuable, that's a terrible one. You can get great information there, which can help you to move that one step forward. Definitely. London Photo Show, their summer exhibition happening between 25th and 28th of June is the way to go. I find it fascinating how most of these shows are happening in the first 6 months of the year always. Mm-hmm. There is rarely a show in the second half here in UK. I know that from time to time you can still get something in September, early September, but that is more odd, nothing after. So once the July comes, the season for shows is over.
Right. Everyone takes a vacation.
Must be. All right. Holly, what did you think? Which one did you like?
The one that I'm going to, Imaging USA.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds great. No, but do you think, like, since I don't have a business, I'm still going to this show and I joined the PPA, the Professional Photographers of America, even though I don't have a business, because I get in for free. Mm-hmm. It's not really free. I mean, I had to join, but I saved a lot of money by doing it that way. You get free entrance to the conference. Mm-hmm. So I hope to learn about a bunch of different things, but like the PPA offers photography certifications, which I don't know if they're worth doing. So I'm going to come armed with a bunch of questions. But as I also move along in my photography hobby, I always wonder, is there some kind of business I could do? Mm-hmm. Or even if it's just start doing YouTube videos or something. There's all sorts of different guest speakers that talk about all the different, how to make a video for YouTube and how to, market yourself and different types of business ideas. So I feel like I'll get some benefit out of it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, should amateurs not be afraid to go to some of these conferences, even if you don't have a professional business at this time?
100%. Yeah. I mean, you don't necessarily have to go to all 5 across the States. Never mind the fact that probably not all the categories will be for you. And some in UK, you don't have to go to all of them neither. But if you can just pick one show a year and go, it will really give you a great good for multiple reasons. Being around photographers and creative people is great anyway, regardless if you are, if you are comfortable to talk to people or not. Sometimes it's just okay to be around them, and it really feels great. And it always recharged me for the year to come to be around photographers and just talk about photography. Second thing is you will get the chance to see the different gear. You will be able to touch it, try it, ask for some specifics. And I think that's great, especially if you're planning to buy something in the future. Like, this is the best way to do it. And there is never really a place or shop where you can try it all, where on these shows, generally, like Sony would have all their lenses there, even some of the rare ones, or Nikon or Canon or any other lens. So you really get the chance to compare them and see how they work. Same with the camera bodies. So that is great as well. And then some of these workshops, they all there. So what other place can you do, let's say, 3 workshops? So one on the first day, second one on the second day, third one on the third day. If you would want to do it normally, you would have to travel. Yourself, if you want to go and join like Vanelli, you have to fly somewhere or drive somewhere, And these are all there. So 100%, definitely, I think it's a beneficial thing to do for us as a photographers, creative people, and people who need from time to time to be around other thinking photographers. So yeah, definitely go and do it.
And we'll learn about new gadgets, going to all the different vendor tables. There's probably a lot of camera gadgets that I don't even know exist yet. So for me who loves products, it'll be fun from that standpoint.
100%. Yeah, I remember one year I was in a market for good photography gloves, for example. And in this photography and video show. They had like 5 different stands with gloves, and you can put them on and try them. And I really found great gloves there. So that is just an example of one simple things, but you're talking tripods and all of that. Yeah, great. Go ahead and do it. And on that positive note, I think it's time to wrap it up today, Holly. So thank you for your list of 5. Best of luck on Imogen. I'm sure you will tell us about it later.
Yes.
For me, I will definitely be at the photography and video show in Birmingham, regardless if it's with Skylum or someone else. And we'll see. Maybe we'll see you on one of these shows. If we have missed a show you think is really important, make sure you let us know in the comments under the show. And also, if you would like to go on one of these shows, get your ticket early and follow the links in the description of our podcast. Holly, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
And have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. See you at a conference.
And that's a wrap. Now, there's only 3 things left to do. Subscribe to this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Visit our website at cleverphotographer.com/LumiCast to see what we have in store next. And stay creative and keep editing your photos no matter what anyone says.